Saturday, August 11th, 2018, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Yesterday was a big lesson for everyone, in my opinion. I know it was isolated to Turkey. The huge collapse in the Turkish lira, the currency, the huge spike in the dollar, of course, versus that currency, the huge spike in that currency versus gold. And yes, let it be a lesson to everyone. And it's unfortunate because I got a comment, and I won't tell, come up with the person's name. He commented on the video from yesterday, and I quote, I am from Turkey. This morning I woke up as a dead guy. I can't believe. Well, I don't know if this particular person has been watching my videos for a long time, but if he has, then he should have been prepared. Unfortunately, it looks like he wasn't. And then he makes another comment, and I quote, Monaco, what should I do from this morning? Staying lira or dollar? Please help. I'm losing all my savings. I replied to him, I would buy gold and silver, maybe some dollars. I know that the president of Turkey came out yesterday and said that the Turkish people should sell all their dollars and protect the lira. Well, this probably won't go down well with Mr. Erdogan, but I think you should not buy the lira, not buy the dollar, but buy gold and silver. Maybe, I guess, have some dollars or keep some liras because you will need them to transact small amounts, of course, in the country. So yeah, don't have the dollar, but if you want to protect your savings, it's got to be in gold and silver. I've been warning people for the last, well, it's over 2 years now, and one day it could happen to anyone in any country in the world, not just an emerging market country, but also here in the UK, in the US. Don't be fooled, Americans, that this cannot happen in the US. Just because you have the world's reserve currency doesn't mean that won't happen in the United States. It could happen anywhere in the world. And once it happens, as you saw yesterday was a great example of how if you're not in it, if you don't have the insurance, it's probably too late. And it's unfortunate. I'm not trying to advise people here. I'm just telling them, the facts of the matter. And what's my background? Well, my background is that I grew up in Brazil, not my adult life, but up until my teenage years, maybe late teenage years, and I did see a couple of currencies come and go, all the money printing, all the inflation, and the world didn't end. But if you leave your savings in the fiat currency, be it the dollar, the pound, the euro, the Turkish lira, the Russian ruble, the Brazilian real, it's not going to be worth as much. Gold and silver have you can't argue it. They've got the 5,000-year track record. We might get frustrated by the price moves in gold, but gold is not going to collapse and disappear, nor will silver. So that's the lesson from this week. Yeah, the markets moved all around, but that's the major lesson for the week. And I'd like to thank as well all the people who've been donating through the channel, be it through small donations once in a while, be it through regular Patreon donations, or even going to the Monaco 64 shop. There's Billy mugs. Billy's here today. He had a haircut yesterday. There's End the Fed t-shirts and the Fed mugs. So yeah, all that helps in this time of shadow banning, of course. I haven't been demonetized, but it helps. So this morning, I want to go through charts. Apart from the lesson of the week, the Turkish lira, and if you're not ready, you will never be ready. If you don't have your monetary insurance. And you heard from the viewer there, my savings has disappeared. What should I do? Well, I didn't want to say to him, it's a little too late, but actually it isn't. It's never too late to put some of your savings in gold and silver. I want to look at the charts today, just to have a look at the big picture. And I know I've been talking about currencies, but let's go just first look at the stock market, because a lot of people say it's better to have your money in the stock market than in gold and silver. Maybe, I guess during the Weimar Republic, hyperinflation, if you had German stocks, you would have done okay, but I think it's too risky. There's too much counterparty. What happens if your broker goes bust and you can't get your shares, your certificates, your stock? I think it's more for a rich man's game, in my opinion. But let's have a look at the Dow and see how well it's doing this year. Well, you can see the chart here of the Dow. It was kind of breaking out earlier in the week, and then it didn't finish very well. So it looks like we're still within this range that we've had since the beginning of March, and we haven't been able to get back up to the all-time highs from January. So that's the Dow. Let's have a look at the S&P, because the S&P has outperformed the Dow. It almost reached the all-time high from January earlier in the week, but like the Dow, it's turned around and it's coming. It looks like it might go back down. We'll have to wait and see next week. It looks like a double top to me. Maybe it could go a little higher and retest that high. We didn't really quite get to the high. So there's the S&P, and I would say even if it does match the old high and the Dow is still nowhere near the high, it's a non-confirmation. So that's the stock market. So let's have a look at the Turkish lira against gold. So some people have been saying, well, gold hasn't been doing well, but yeah, against the dollar, it's been a little bit under pressure, but longer term, it will prove to be, it doesn't really matter if you buy it at 1250 or 1200 or 1300. Especially looking at this chart, gold and Turkish lira. So at the beginning of the year, you needed 5,000 Turkish lira to buy an ounce. Yesterday, at one point, you almost needed 8,000. So there you go. That's how it protects the spike in the dollar, or the meltdown in the Turkish lira was reflected in the rise of the price of gold in Turkish lira. So yes, and it's if you want to protect yourself really against America pushing its power around versus your country and your local currency, but you also want to protect yourself against your local government not being responsible with its currency, like every government in the world is, even the American government, the Turkish government, the UK government. The ultimate way to be protected is gold and silver. And why? Well, because it's a neutral store of value. It's neutral in that it's apolitical, and it's been there, and it transcends political power. So there you go, Turkish lira in gold. And I hope the viewer and the person who asks the questions does start putting some of his or her savings in gold and silver. Don't put it all at once. Try to cost average it, because we could see the Turkish lira rebound, and then you get even against gold. But it's the only way to be protected, though. Now I want to look at gold in some other currencies, even the European currencies, and that's why I say it's a lesson for everyone. So let's have a look at gold in British pounds. So here it is. This is almost a one-year chart. It's a daily chart, and you can see that gold has really been going sideways for the last year, between 925 and 980. recently, yeah, we got down just a few days ago near to the lows, but look how it's just spiked back higher really sharply. I think we finished yesterday at 950. This chart says 947.70, but it's actually 950. So to me, that's this move this week looks like a key reversal. So we could have a bottom in gold for the British pound, maybe even in dollars. So that's gold in British pounds. And the same lesson from Turkey. You need to have it. If you don't have it, when things get ugly like they did yesterday for Turkey and the Turkish public, it will be too late to buy gold and silver as an insurance. Let's have a look. Even the gold price in euros. Look at the sharp move. It had broken the annual, this is a little over a year, this chart, and we'd broken through like 1,060 or 1,055, which was a really key support. It wasn't looking very good, but like with the euro, with the pound, excuse me, we've made a huge reversal this week in the price of gold in euros. That tells me that yeah, that's another confirmation that gold could have bottomed even in dollars. So again, for people whose domestic or currency is the euro, you do need to protect yourself as well. The euro is not immune. The euro is a fiat currency as well. Ruble. Golden rubles, and we know that Mr. Putin and the Russian central bank, they've been buying a lot of gold, and that's a good strategy because I think the powers that be will continue to punish Russia and the Russian economy and its currency. But you can see going back to the last 18 months, gold has gone up from around 70 to a present level of 82,000 almost in rubles. So that's protecting yourself as well. I know from reading that there's a lot of people in Russia who hold dollars. It's been kind of a tradition for the last 25 years. Maybe you should think about exchanging some of that for gold and silver. And look at the move it made this week. It's quite a big move, quite a big spike. So gold is doing its job. So let's have a look at gold in Brazilian real as well. Same thing for Brazilians. They need to have gold. Look at very similar to the ruble chart. So again, doing its job. Up, last January 2007 or June 2017, you needed about 4,000. Now you need about 4,600. Look at the dollar chart. I know most of my viewers are in the US. So if you go to January 2017, the move we've had since then, we're right on the 61.8% retracement. I think we closed around 12.12 yesterday. And it seems to be holding here, this 1205 area you can see there. Last summer it was the low. And this summer it seems to be the low for now. Of course it could go lower. As I said, you're not going to mess around trying to... Well, if you're trading, that's fine. But I see gold more as holding an insurance or holding money. Do you try to trade your fire insurance, your car insurance? No, you don't. You just have the insurance, right? Silver, of course. And even silver has done well this lately. It looks like the drop has stopped, as you can see here, and it's holding between 1525 and 1550 for now. Looks like we need to get back above 1550. To those who say, "Oh, Mario, but Turkey is different. It's an emerging market." Yeah, it might be, but we've had currency crisis in the UK. We had currency crisis in Europe when they had, even with the euro, right? So I just wanted to show these charts, and this is not looking good, and that's why I say it's more important than ever for people in Europe and the UK to make sure they have some monetary insurance, aka gold and silver. Look at the British pound chart. Since I've been talking about this for a while now, since April, we've made a huge drop from like 143 to below 128 now. Yesterday we touched just that 61.8 retracement level. This is the move from the post-Brexit low to the post-Brexit high. If we break 127, look out below. We might see a bit of a rebound, but the trend looks lower. Do you really want to hold a currency that can disappear in value overnight quite a bit, like the Turkish lira did yesterday? Don't be fooled. There's the British pound. Same thing with the euro here. Euro, yesterday we broke the neckline of a big head and shoulder here. And I would say that the right shoulders didn't even have much of a power compared to the left hand shoulder. So that's even more bearish. What would be a next target? Well, around 104. And that's where this move started from. Does that mean that gold is going to go lower against the dollar? It could a bit, but I think gold has been holding well. And to all those who are saying, well, the euro is going to collapse, don't forget when the euro, how can I say, when the euro started trading back in the late 90s, I think 98, 99, 1 euro only bought less than 90 US cents. So from the last 20 years, actually, the euro has appreciated against the dollar. So all of those are saying, oh, the euro is going to collapse. It might disband, but the European currencies, I'm not saying they're great, but they're the same. It's fiat currency. The lesson of the week, don't be caught empty-handed. Currency devaluations come like a thief in the night, as the saying goes. And Turkey proved it yesterday. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Steemit, DTube, and on Twitter. I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.